it's Raquel Bowman here, and today I'm creating an 8.5 by 11 layout for Pink Paislee, and it, of course, as you can tell from what you can see on my desk here, is using the new Spellcast collection. It's a really nice Halloween collection. I love some of the icons and things within it, and what I'm documenting is about my daughter and about her thoughts towards Halloween. So in Australia, we don't tend to really do anything for Halloween. Some people certainly do, so I am generalizing there. But over the last few years, Halloween seems to be getting more popular, and you can go to stores and get costumes, and you can go and get decorations for your house. People have Halloween parties. I actually went to one last year, which was my brother's sort of combination of his birthday and a Halloween party. So they're definitely gaining in popularity. It probably is the social media influence for sure on that. But what I want to document on this layout is that my daughter, who is going to be 5 next week, can you believe it, has been begging to go trick-or-treating for Halloween. I'm talking, she would have started asking 6 months ago. That's what she wants to do. She wants to go trick-or-treating. She wants to dress up. She wants to collect candy, as she calls it, thanks to YouTube. And we call them lollies here in Australia. But both my kids call lollies candy now. And I really want to document just her love of Halloween and wanting to go trick-or-treating, and that's sort of my story here, because I think it's an important one to tell since she's so keen on it. So what I've done is I've cut my white paper. I do need to trim it down just slightly, and I've sort of gathered this paper here, which is paper 12. It's got sort of an orange base, and I'm sort of sticking to orange, black, sort of a white within the color palette. I might use a few extra colors, but definitely the collection is more, it's got some touches of green and obviously a cream base in there as well. So the photos that I've grabbed were ones of her in a witch's hat. She was carrying around a little cauldron and she wanted to dress up on this day. So I'm not sure which one quite yet that I want to use, but I'm thinking it's going to be this one, just because I like the composition of the photo, and I just really like the photo. And I think that I can use these other ones for another layout, but for this particular telling of the story, I think I want to use this one here. So what I've done is I've gone through the ephemera pack already, and I've just gathered some bits and pieces that I thought would work. I definitely want to use this one because my story is all about her want to trick or treat. And I just want to give you a quick little glimpse at some of these embellishments if you haven't seen them already. I think that this is one of the first Halloween collections I've ever had, being that we don't necessarily document Halloween. I don't think I have another Pink Paislee Halloween collection from the past. I think this is actually my first collection ever, which is I don't know, that's pretty crazy. But so yeah, these are the thickers, the chipboard pieces. I absolutely love this floral, black and white floral, and there's some spiders and all bits and pieces. They do have some gold accents. Here's the stickers, more than enough to choose from. These are the sort of transparent stickers, but these are black and gold, as you can see if I turn it to the side a bit. There's some washi. There's some sort of clear cling labels. So these could go on jars, and you could create like a sort of scene in your entranceway or wherever you might be decorating. And these are some thickers with a black foam thickers with a black core, and they're gold. I really like those. So that's the bits and pieces that I have. And my thoughts is that I'll sort of create a bit of an embellishment cluster up here, and then maybe another one down here where I can document the story. And I also was thinking about stitching some sort of webs sort of down and attaching some of these little spiders. So they're my thoughts, but I will take you along with me and we'll sort of see where this takes us. Okay, so I begin by cutting down that white cardstock. I cut about 3/4 of an inch off, and then I cut this yellow pattern paper down to 8.5 by 11, so that then I have a border that goes all around my white cardstock. I am gutting the middle just because I really like that sort of orange design, and it's got a really subtle newsprint on it, and it's just really nice, so I didn't want to waste any of that. And I did decide to map my photo. I thought that this sort of vintage style newspaper, it's got like potions and witch's brew and all these sorts of things on it, so I thought that would be really cute to back my photo. And I've tried to position my photo in a way where you can see some of the text of the potion title at the top. So I've got that matted already, and now I'm just going for it and layering some of the ephemera that I'd collected with all of those colours that sort of match what I've selected for the page. I definitely wanted that trick or treat title. I love that floral, as I mentioned. There was some tombstones that sort of matched, and I've sort of, as you can see now, got a bit of a horizontal embellishment grouping sort of either side of the photo. And I do go through and try and find some more bits and pieces that I can add to the page. I looked at the stickers and took some adhesive off some of them so that I could position them around the page and see if they would work. Once the basis of the embellishments around the photo came together quite quickly. I think because I'd already spent the time going through the ephemera to see what I thought would work on the page, that I didn't have as much to choose from as if I had the whole ephemera pack in front of me. So as I was selecting those bits and pieces, it all sort of just not fell together, but you know, it was a lot easier to place everything where I wanted it. I have worked on the bottom cluster off camera, and that's just including some of that text paper, a little spell book, a ephemera piece that says Spellcast, and that cat. And I particularly like that black cat going down the bottom there because I felt like it looked like it was walking along the bottom of the layout. Its orientation is facing towards the middle of the page, and for me, in terms of design and balance, I felt like that made it seem like it brings your eyes back towards the center. If the cat was facing the other way, I wouldn't have used it on the layout. So yeah, that's just a little I suppose thought behind why I've added that cat in there. And now I'm just using my tape runner just to build on some of those layers and stick them down behind the photo while I was happy with them. Sometimes I don't adhere right till the very end, but when I'm definitely happy with where a placement is, then I'll just go with that and I will adhere down beforehand. So off camera, I've stitched around the edge of the page just to add that little bit of texture. I think it gives it a really nice finished look. And now I'm mixing between using some foam tape, my liquid adhesive in the fine line bottle, and just regular an ATG as well to stick things down. I've noticed a few people asking about whether it's on Facebook or through YouTube asking about the fine line bottles. I've used both the blue ones before and the yellow ones, and a tip from me to you is to probably not waste your money, but don't waste your money on the blue ones. The gauge of the blue nib is quite thin, and if you put something like a tacky glue through there, it's too hard to get through that thin nib. So the yellow nib of the bottle is a lot thicker, and it means that the glue comes out a lot easier, and I hardly have to apply any pressure. You shouldn't need to be forcing the glue out of the bottle. So just a little tip, that if you are going to invest in one of the bottles, which they are fantastic and they're refillable, then check out and look out for the yellow ones. Anyway, let's get back to the layout. That's just a little side tangent there that I went on, but I've definitely been noticing it lately and thought I'd just mention it. So I've sort of got that top cluster pretty much done. I'm really happy with how the title, the trick or treat, and that Halloween text and the floral and all those bits sort of weave together to create that cluster. I love sort of layering embellishments and making them tuck and weave and fit together. One of my classes at Big Picture Classes, Lovely Layers, talks a lot about that. So if you haven't checked that out and you do have a subscription, check it out and see what you think. But that's where I do talk a lot about how I sort of build layers and build clusters of embellishments. So now what I'm doing is I've typed my journaling. You saw me do that. It was quite a lot of journaling, but I really wanted to document this story, and that was, the key purpose for creating this page, was to document my daughter's thoughts on Halloween. And as I mentioned at the start of this video, that I was going to include the spiders and sort of look like they were hanging. I end up adding one more, so I've got 3. I just felt like the 2 wasn't working, so I do add one more. And I'm adding those finishing touch embellishments right now. So in that sticker sheet, there were tiny little stars. They were in gold and black and orange, which work a little bit like an enamel dot on the page. What I'm doing here is just using my needle, and I've got a foam mat, one of those Amy Tangerine piercing mats behind there, and I was just poking the holes. I used my T-square ruler just to guide the line a little bit, and then I'm using my crochet thread just to backstitch a simple line to act as the web. The crochet twine I really like using because it's thick enough that you can really see the detail, but also it doesn't have strands. It's just got the one piece, so it's easier to stitch with. So here's some close-ups. You can see the stitching there and the journaling. Lots of dimension in the embellishments, and that's the layout. So thanks so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed my contribution to Halloween week over on the Pink Paislee blog, and I will see you all soon. Bye everyone.